What's going on, guys? Ches Critta. So I was talking to DJ Grooveline last night about the state of affairs in this country, which is grim to say the least. And the topic came up, something that he said was, you're basically paying for the boot on your neck. And that, yeah, that's it. I mean, taxes are being forcibly extracted from you, and that is subsidizing this government. Now, this leads me to an article, and I'm going to read this real quick here for you guys, but it's very relevant to this conversation. The title is Online Threat, but SWAT Team Raids Wrong House. Eerily reminiscent of that Marine that got blown away, huh? Imagine you're sitting at home, comfortable on the couch, watching the Food Network, when all of a sudden a heavily armed SWAT team breaks down your door and storms into your living room. That's what happened to 18-year-old Stephanie Milan, who was watching TV in her family's Evansville, Indiana home last Thursday, June 22nd. When a team of police officers broke down her storm door, the front door was already open, and tossed a flashbang grenade into her room. Well, this is again, so now I want to point out the absurdity in just a second here, but imagine that's you. All the people that say, like, oh, you're blowing this out of proportion. She had done nothing wrong, and yet this happened to her. Continuing. The front door was open. Ira Milan, Stephanie's grandfather and the property owner, told the Evansville Courier and Press. To bring a whole SWAT team seems a little excessive. Yeah, you think? Food Network. Oh, we got to come down hard on her. Turns out, however, that the SWAT team had the wrong address. The Courier Press said the police had been investigating anonymous and specific online threats made against the police and their families on the website topics.com. So, yeah, be careful what you put online, guys, because apparently you can get a SWAT team kicking down your door and throwing in a flashbang. They'd obtained a search warrant, yada, yada, yada. And this is the threat. Evansville is going to feel the pain. Now, I'm going to stop here because imagine that you had a specific threat. Imagine that Corey C. posted online that Ches Critta is going to, quote-unquote, feel the pain. Well, I could go down to the police department or call them and say, I need a SWAT team to raid Corey C.'s house. That's never going to happen. You know what they're going to say? They're going to be, oh, well, go ahead and fill this police report out. We'll investigate it. Let us know if anything else happens. That threat, feel the pain. That's like something that you'd hear in like a wrestling match, right? It's kind of like non-specific threat. My point about this is, you make a threat against the government or the police department, and your door gets kicked in by who? The police department. Now, imagine that you made a specific threat against the mafia. Who's your door going to get kicked in by? You're going to be sleeping with the fishes, because Big Jim and Shorty are going to take you and put some concrete boots and sink you in the bottom of the Hudson River. Okay? But the average person, you don't have the same equal protection under the law. It's really a privileged class. And this is like, how is it? And I just got off the phone with Corey, and we were talking about it. How is it that we can split the atom? That we as a human species are intelligent enough to send stuff into orbit, communication satellites, so I can talk with anyone around the world in real time, almost instantaneously. But we can't structure a society properly. We can't figure out welfare. And we create these systems that are basically designed, purposefully or non-purposefully, to oppress us. I mean, doesn't it seem a little absurd that we live in a police state. Not to go down Alex Jones Road and scream into the camera, but we do, whether you like it or not. If you're sitting at home watching TV and police throw a flashbang in your door, that is a police state. And what's going to happen because of this? She might be able to get a little bit of damages, but for the most part, it's like, oops, sorry, I guess maybe you should encrypt your Wi-Fi. I mean, is that reasonable, guys? It doesn't make any sense. Are we not intelligent enough to figure this out? And, as far as doing something about it, it's like, when is it enough? And I know I harp on this, but, again, getting back to the conversation, I guess you're only really, truly free, and I think this is from Fight Club. It was a video that I was listening to. You're only truly free when you lose absolutely everything, right? It's like Salente says, when you have nothing left to lose, you lose it. But we're all so interested in protecting our own interests. you know, in our own self-interest, and like, you know, well, I mean, my neighbor's house can get raided, but my house hasn't been raided yet, so I'm not going to flip out about it. I mean, that's what it comes down to, guys. It's just protecting yourself. And it's going to keep going. It's going to get worse and worse. And another thing is like, well, maybe I am blowing this out of proportion. I mean, if I was making these videos in China, I would probably be disappeared. If I was railing against the government in Iran, you would probably not hear from me very long. You know, this stuff is censored in other countries. Well, we still have the ability to talk about it, yet it seems that talking about it, thinking about it, quote unquote, telling someone that they're going to feel the pain, brings the government down on you like a sack of rocks. So, why? Why is the question? Who's at the helm of the USS, right? Who is steering the ship in this direction? And why, as humans, are we going along with it? You know, I would like to really interview and pick the brains of the police officers involved in this raid. You know, are they just going to slough it off? I mean, what if this happened on a regular basis? And it does. It does. You hear about police departments going in and, you know, the dog starts barking, right? It's like a member of your family starts barking at the cops. Bang! Dead dog. Everyone get down. Oh, we screwed up? Huh. Our bad. But you know what? Thank you for subsidizing us. Thank you for paying our salaries. And when is it time to say no? No, this is not going to happen. And I'm talking from the top down. When do the police officers get some religion and say, you know what? This is freaking crazy. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why do we need to do this? Why are we stomping indoors and throwing in flashbangs against innocent people? You know, we have the resources to do a thorough investigation. You could run surveillance on the property and understand that it's an 18-year-old female that poses no threat whatsoever, that's living with her elderly grandfather who's the property owner, and understand, maybe she's not the one posting this. But no, we're going to throw caution to the wind and smash in the door. And again, it's only because a threat was made against the police department. You know, you threaten the government, and whoa, you know, that's something that shouldn't be done. And I don't doubt that this conversation, well, this video, this information that I'm putting out there, that the private conversations that I have, I am not secure enough in my ability to trust the government to not know that this information is probably being recorded and put in a database somewhere. I'm sure that somebody has got their eyes on me somewhere, okay, because it's huge. And I don't doubt that there are probably agents that work directly with Google and YouTube to track this information. That it's all put in a database somewhere, and it's amazing to me because the most powerful information center, business entity in the world is Google. Isn't that amazing? But we still have the illusion of freedom in this country, so we get on here and try to voice our thoughts. And getting back to the conversation with DJ Grooveline, it came up at one point that, is there ever going to be a time where good-hearted Americans that understand the principles of liberty and freedom stand up and say, no, it's enough? And I pose this question to you. What if 1,000 men with assault rifles stood up and went on a march and ended up running into the police? What would happen? Because there's three scenarios I see happening. One is the police stand down. Two is the men with assault rifles stand down. And the third option is revolution. So what happens? Or is that scenario completely unrealistic? Will we be just taken from, against our will, you know, the boot on our neck that we are sponsoring? Will that continue? That's a good question. And here's someone I talked to last night. You should check this out. Tell me what you just told me.
The level of ignorance of the average American is staggering. They neither read nor write on a regular basis. They only can process information that's shoved down their throat through a mass media system.
Wow.
They'd rather pay attention to the Kardashians than look at what's going on globally. In a very real sense.
That's
in a very
amazing.
real sense, things are changing rapidly on this planet.
Yes.
For the worse, that will affect our standard of living, the quality of life of humans. And they'd rather than read the New York Times Sunday editorials, which is a reasonable thing to do as a voter in this country. They'd rather talk about what Kim Kardashian did, and even they pay $110 a month for cable TV. They pay to be marketed to. I go on and on, man. It's fucking ridiculous.